Help me to complete my first 1,000 subscribers. Relax. It was just a joke, my wife said, smiling, while 30 of my coworkers laughed at the affair that had been happening behind my back. My name is Daniel Mercer. I was 38 years old that night. I worked as a project manager at a mid-sized tech firm in downtown Chicago. I had been married for 10 years. 10 quiet, routine-heavy, slowly drifting years. The office party was supposed to be harmless. 1 hour. Drinks, speeches, polite laughter. I almost didn't go. My wife insisted. She said it would be good for us. That's what she said whenever something felt off, like attendance could replace intimacy. We arrived late. She walked a few steps ahead of me, heels clicking confidently, already laughing with people she barely acknowledged at home. I followed, holding our coats, rehearsing small talk in my head like always. Somewhere between the bar and the dance floor, I noticed she never reached for my hand. She hadn't in months. The joke happened during a drinking game. Someone asked an innocent question, something about workplace crushes. My wife leaned in toward the circle, wine glass raised, eyes sparkling. "Well," she said, laughing, "I guess I should thank this company for giving me more excitement than my marriage." People laughed loudly. I smiled. Too. Instinct. Survival. Then she added, "I mean, if you're going to have an affair, at least let it be with someone who understands deadlines." That's when the room went quiet for half a second. Not long enough to save me. Long enough to destroy me. A few people glanced at me. Someone coughed. Someone else laughed harder, trying to cover the silence. My boss avoided eye contact. My wife took a sip like she'd just told a clever anecdote. I felt heat crawl up my neck. My ears rang. I didn't hear the music anymore. Later, in the elevator, I asked her, very calmly, "What did you mean by that?" She sighed, annoyed. "Daniel, don't do this now. It was a joke. Everyone jokes. A joke about an affair," I said. She looked at her phone. "You're overreacting." That night, at home, she didn't apologize. She changed into pajamas, washed her makeup off, and crawled into bed with her back to me. Like nothing happened. Like my humiliation had an expiration time of 30 seconds. I didn't sleep. By morning, the house felt like a hotel. Quiet, neutral, disposable. She left early for work. No goodbye. No explanation. The truth didn't come from her. It came from pattern recognition. Late nights that didn't add up. Passwords changed. Laundry done separately. A tenderness she reserved for her phone. 3 days later, I confronted her in the kitchen. No yelling, no theatrics, just facts. "Is there someone at work?" I asked. She leaned against the counter, arms crossed, defensive posture. "Familiar. Yes," she said. "But it's not what you think." I nodded. "How long?" She hesitated. "About a year, while I paid the mortgage." Planned vacations she canceled. Sat alone at dinner waiting for her text that said she'd be late. Again. "Why stay married?" I asked. She didn't look at me when she answered. "Because you were stable." That word landed heavier than any insult. "You were convenient," she added. "Safe." I didn't want to lose that. I waited for the apology. It never came. Instead, she said, "Your feelings don't really matter here. This is about what I need." Something inside me collapsed quietly, not dramatically, not with tears. It felt like a building being condemned. Everyone stepping out, lights off, doors locked. That night, I didn't beg. That surprised even me. I didn't ask her to stop. I didn't ask what I did wrong. I sat alone in the living room until sunrise, replaying the party in my head. The laughter. The way she smiled when she said it. The way she didn't look at me afterward. I realized something then. The affair wasn't the worst part. The joke was. Because it meant she had already stripped me of dignity in her mind. The marriage was already a punchline. Over the next week, I moved through my life like a ghost. Work, gym, grocery store. Silence. I stopped trying to explain myself to her. Stopped asking questions. Stopped chasing clarity from someone who benefited from my confusion. One evening, she noticed. "You're being weird," she said. "Why aren't you fighting?" I looked at her. Really looked, and for the first time, I didn't feel love or anger, just distance. "Because I finally understand," I said. She waited. "I don't need to convince you to respect me," I continued. "If you wanted to, you would have." I slept in the guest room that night. 2 weeks later, I filed for divorce. Quietly. Professionally. No public scene. No social media posts. No revenge speeches. At work, the whispers faded. People stopped looking at me with pity. My boss apologized once, briefly, awkwardly. I accepted it and moved on. My wife tried to talk months later. She said she missed the stability, the calm, the way I used to listen. I listened again, silently. Then I said, that version of me doesn't exist anymore. Healing wasn't fast, it wasn't cinematic. Some nights were just empty. Some mornings felt pointless. But slowly, I began rebuilding something honest. Not happiness. Self-respect. Here's what I learned. Cheating doesn't always begin with sex. Sometimes it begins with contempt. With jokes. With treating loyalty like a weakness and silence like consent. If someone can laugh at your pain in public, they've already left the relationship emotionally. And no amount of explaining will bring them back. Dignity isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. Sometimes, it's just the decision to stop begging someone to see your worth. 10 years ended in 1 hour. But the rest of my life didn't.